learned helplessness is, from my perspective, not much more than a psychological paradigm that reduces our agency, it blocks our agency, it keeps us stuck. Organizations often struggle to change human behavior, and I think it might be because their focus is in the wrong place. If we plotted the problems an organization faces, we could probably put it on a spectrum ranging from systemic issues that are faced all the way through to issues with the agents in the system, the individuals that make it up. And usually the more senior we get in organizations, the more we want to focus on creating systemic change. We see that in government institutions. We want to fix the systemic issues, and then we think, oh, well, that'll fix all of the problems for the agents. But the world of psychology has quite clearly shown where the primary starting point needs to be to not undermine the reality of systemic change. And it comes from some interesting research that was done by Martin Seligman, the great father of positive psychology. I believe he was doing his initial PhD research, trying to understand the way people respond to pain and discomfort. He created this kind of double-sided dog kennel. There was a shock plate on the one side and a partition in the middle that could be opened and closed, basically to emulate the reality of creating a broken system. Of course, he put the dogs in the one side of the kennel, shocked them, and when the partition was open, they would just, of course, jump across into the other side where there was no electric shock. A completely normal response. When he put those dogs in there again and closed the partition, in other words, he created a systemic blockage, a systemic problem, a broken system. And the dogs realized they couldn't get away from the electric shock. Eventually, they would obviously just lie in the most comfortable way possible. When he opened up that partition, in other words, he fixed the systemic factors that were blocking those dogs, and he shocked them again. They carried on lying there, taking the shock. And of course, this became known as learned helplessness. Now, learned helplessness is, from my perspective, not much more than a psychological paradigm that reduces our agency, it blocks our agency, it keeps us stuck, even when systemically we have the agency to be able to shift and behave in a way that's unblocked. And learned helplessness is among a number of psychological paradigms. It might be a low self-esteem. It might be a sense of worthlessness. It might be certain racial perspectives or gender inferiority perspectives. It might be an external locus of control. I think of that, and it makes me think of many people in their jobs at the moment. A lot of people are stuck in environments where they actually can't get away from the shock. It makes me think of some people's marriages or some people's work teams, etc. But what we need to do if we want to cause significant large-scale behavior change is we need to be able to shift these psychological paradigms for the agents at scale. And then we don't have to choose between systemic change and agent change, because both of them could happen together. There are technologies now that can unlock these psychological paradigms for people at scale. I mean, Mygrow is doing exactly that. We don't need to stop fixing the systemic factors that are blocking people. But we're fools to think that if we just fix the systemic factors, that suddenly the agents are going to respond to that, because the research shows otherwise. What I think is exciting is how now there's technologies that can allow us to have both. We can unlock the agents at scale and cause different kinds of organizations to go into the future.